Hello, my name's Claire Harris, and this is my edited portfolio of my creative practices. Just to give you a little bit of background, I've mostly worked, well, I trained as a designer, but mostly worked in publishing. I've worked in other areas of design also, but for the large part, it's been publishing, and I've produced many titles, starting from junior designer right up to art director. Um, a short while back, I set up A Million Squid, which is the name that I sort of work under now, and I work with sort of web design, new technologies, ebooks for ebook readers, and more recently apps for smartphones and tablet devices. I also do lots of other things as well. I work with interactive design for iPads, I've done t-shirt design, I've done branding and many different forms of that. I still do a bit of publishing, but mostly either magazines or jackets, and a little bit of sort of experimental illustration. So it's quite broad. My practices are quite broad in terms of output. Um, Recently, I did a project on the secret language of headscarves, and I was quite interested in sort of souvenir and insignia, and mostly exploring the conventions and themes through pattern and design, really. And so what I'll do is I'll take a conventional kind of dial pattern that you might use for a souvenir scarf, but then obviously sort of pick a fictitious destination for that souvenir. Um, so I picked greetings from Mars, but obviously included real destinations that you might find on Mars, like Olympus Mons and the polar caps and things like that. And then, yeah, put myself in the picture to give it a bit more of a sort of a narrative, it albeit very sort of tongue in cheek. This one's called Rollers and Crowns, and you can see that it's sort of diagonally divided into two there, and it kind of symbolises two very different types of femininity, but also two very different types of class associated with sort of headscarves. So if you fold it in half across a diagonal, it can be worn by both commoners and queens. Um, this is called Spurs, Stirrups and Bits, and it's a kind of a take on the traditional Hermes type of scarf that's been sort of duplicated and reproduced sort of all over the world. Only I've put a little bit of sort of dominatrix kind of paraphernalia in there as well, and sort of wove it into the pattern. So it's a kind of sort of subversive take on an Hermes style scarf. This one's called Dirty Weekend. It's a souvenir from Brighton. Traditionally, Brighton was a hot destination for a dirty weekend, but now you're more likely to get sort of hit by a seagull. So that's a souvenir of that, and also I wanted to dress up as Tippi Hedren. Um, this is called On the Buses. So at first glance, it looks like a basic repeat pattern set to a grid. But if you look at the pattern in more detail, you'll notice that each bus has its own destination with its own route number. And also unique to Brighton is that all the buses are named after someone famous associated with Brighton. So if you look closely at the pattern, each bus will also contain its own bus name. And this one's called The Fifth Quarter. It's a souvenir from Dungeness. Again, another unlikely holiday destination. You know, it has a nuclear power station, has two nuclear power stations basically. But nonetheless, it's kind of like got another worldly beauty to it as a place, and I just wanted to sort of capture that somehow in the scarf. So other things that I'm working on, I also work part-time at the Open University teaching design thinking, and that's very process-led. Even though the students, you know, do produce designs, it's very sort of process-driven. I recently completed a course on blended learning, which was really useful. I'm really interested in developing sort of resources for design and media, teaching design and media, and recently presented at a JISC funded course called Drawing on All Resources, and have recently been a prize winner for the Adobe Educators' Choice Award. In addition to that, I'm sort of working with other academics on various projects that sort of look at sort of sexuality and gender. And I was quite heavily involved in a recent conference called Sexual Cultures, and produced all the graphics and things like that. My sort of current interest at the moment, there's recently been a report called the Sexualization Report, and I want to put in a bid with a group of academics to the Arts and Humanities Research Council for a follow-on grant to sort of make this information more accessible to the public using various sort of media and visual forms. So this could be animation, it could be film, it could be infographics, it could be performance, it could be anything really. So that's my current and future project for the moment. I guess all my background in design and my interest in new technologies, it all feeds in to my current work at the University of Southampton, Winchester School of Art, where I teach digital fashion practices. And we work on various projects like branding, interactive projects. We've recently sort of magazine projects. We've recently done a sort of development of app projects for the second year. So it's quite a broad range that I'm able to deliver due to my own experiences and my own interests. So that's basically an overview of my creative practices at the moment. And yeah, thank you very much.